I want to tell you something before we wrap up today. I had a chance to tell a story on Adam's show last week, and somebody sent me an email about it, and I just want to tell you, it's a short story, but it was always very meaningful to me. A friend of mine did the parachute jump thing, where you go to a full day of training. You get to jump out of the plane with the parachute, and it takes you a full day, and they show you how to pack the chute, and then they show you how to jump, they show you how to roll. And he told me the story of this. This is years ago. Oh, it's like 20 years ago. And he told me the story of the day of training. And he told me how the instructor said to them, after the full day of training, before they were actually going to jump, that the instructor said to them, "Okay, everyone, now listen up. Now, when you get out, as you know, you're going to pull the ripcord, and of course, here's the ripcord as we went over many times before. Now," he said, "it's going to work, it's going to be fine. If, for some reason, the ripcord doesn't work, if it's the 1 in a million thing where for some reason it doesn't work," he said, "as you know, here's the auxiliary ripcord, and you pull that. Now," he said, "none of this is ever going to happen. It's going to be fine. It's just going to be terrific. But," he said, "if for some reason the ripcord doesn't work, and if for some reason the auxiliary ripcord doesn't work," he said, and this is the part I remembered, he said, "I want you to go back to the ripcord and start pulling that again and keep pulling it." And he said, "I don't want you to panic, and I don't care what happens." He said, "I don't care if you're 30 feet above the ground going 200 miles an hour and about to smoke it in." He said, "I want to still see you pulling that ripcord." And when my friend told me that story, I'll never forget, it affected me. I thought, you know what? That's a pretty good philosophy to life. You know what? You just keep pulling that ripcord, and it doesn't matter how bad things are. That right up to the very end, till you hit that ground at 200 miles an hour, you keep pulling that ripcord. And I told that on Adam's show. It came up in some other context. Somebody mentioned skydiving, I guess, and I hadn't thought about it in a while, but it always affected me. And you know what? I got an email from our show and onto my website, and it was from a guy who said he heard that story, and he's been having a little trouble. He lost his job, and then he got a job as a bartender, and he thought, he's got a family and kids, and he thought, well, I guess this is never going to happen, and this. He started getting depressed, and he started feeling low, and he said, well, I guess none of this is ever going to happen, and that. And he heard that story, and it turned him around, and he loved the motto, and he loved the philosophy. And I'm getting at it because of this, folks. This doesn't make me smart, because it's not my story. When you have a chance to pass things along in life, it feels so good. Can you imagine that you send something out in the world? You do this too. You do this in your families. You do this at work. You pass something along, and guess what? If someone catches it and it means something, it's really, really something. It's not for my vanity. It's not for my glory. It's for the world. It's for the big glory. You know what? How wonderful is that this guy had a chance to say, I heard you say that, and it meant something to me. And now he said, I've passed that along to other friends.